Happy holidays, everybody, and Tony here with my final tribute to a classic Christmas Disney animated short that I remembered enjoying ever since I was a little boy, and one that I had a lot of fond memories with. I'm talking about Broken Toys from Silly Symphonies, which was released on December 14, 1935. This short was directed by Ben Sharpstein and it was produced by Walt Disney. I remembered catching this ever since I was a 9 or 10-year-old boy on the Disney Channel, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it because of not only the fantastic animation, but also the very involving story with the toys being repaired so that they can find a new hope in the orphanage, and even the very touching ending with all the toys being jubilantly out of the dumps and into their new home in the orphanage. And to this very day, I consider this to be a short that is thoroughly entertaining, absolutely touching, and it left me with a lot of smiles, joy, elation, and so many good vibes flowing throughout my system, especially considering that the Sailor Boy doll spurs the other broken toys on to not give up hope, as there is a very special place for them. Sure, the other broken toys feel that their previous owners no longer liked them because when they were new, they were loved, but when they ended up serving their purpose, as well as ended up being worn out, they were no longer needed. Nevertheless, the Sailor Boy doll and all his optimism and all of his joys of a much brighter future for them convinces them that there will be someone who will accept them, especially in that little ditty, "We're gonna get out of the dumps." That particular ditty was one of my biggest highlights of this particular short because this also expresses the hope, the optimism, as well as the joy of the toys getting out of their current situation and hopefully into a new home where they can feel loved. In order for this to happen, they end up repairing each other and even find creative ways to make sure that they come out as brand new toys, especially considering that there is a transfusion happening between the very fat cop who has a lot of sawdust in his body with the Zasu Pitts doll who looks really emaciated. But thanks to this transfusion, the cop doll ends up being more trim and stands up a lot more straight. And the Zasu Pitts doll ended up having curves that she can be very proud of. The most significant moment arrives as the little blind girl doll ends up having an operation to get new eyes. And she even remarks the Sailor Boy doll of his kindness. And what also makes this significant is just the connection that's about to blossom between the Sailor Boy doll and the little blind girl doll. Come the operation, and every single toy is watching with anticipation as the nurse dolls also make sure that the little blind girl doll does not get hurt. And considering that the Step and Fetch It puppet is in charge of pumping in a lot of anesthesia to ensure that the little blind girl doll does not get hurt nor fatally injured, even when the Step and Fetch It doll ends up being tired and exhausted. The W.C. Fields doll ends up reminding him by giving him a good nudge that he still needs to keep on pumping the anesthesia. And what's also quite fun about it was we get to see the glove doing some snapping tricks. The new eyes for the little girl doll end up being sewed right in, and she can see her darling Sailor Boy doll and remarks how handsome he is, thus giving him a kiss. And I thought that the pairing between the Sailor Boy doll and the little girl doll was not only sweet, but absolutely adorable to watch, especially considering that I shipped them ever since I was a little boy, and the connection between them was really clear, especially from the very beginning, considering that the little girl doll was also touched by the Sailor Boy doll's optimism and sense of hope. This is also that same sense of hope and optimism that gives the toys to be out of the dumps and jubilantly and triumphantly welcome themselves to the orphanage. And the short ends with the W.C. Fields doll dragging back the Step and Fetch It puppet to the orphanage as we get a shot of the St. John's Orphanage with Silent Night playing in the background, which was an absolutely touching way to end Broken Toys. So what more can I say about Broken Toys? This particular holiday short was touching, it was inspiring, and it left me feeling so elated at the very end. And it was thoroughly entertaining. The Sailor Boy doll's optimism and hope made me enjoy this particular short a whole lot more. And he's also a staunch reminder that no matter how bad or how dour things can be, there will always be a silver lining behind that otherwise gray cloud. And sometimes you need to keep the hope and faith so that you will not end up giving up. And that's what I managed to gather from the Sailor Boy doll. Aside from the story, the animation, and the message, as well as the entertainment value that I managed to receive from Broken Toys, which all received high marks, the voice acting was just as excellent. Pinto Colvig gave such a fun and absolutely involving portrayal of the W.C. Fields doll. Danny Webb put his comedic talents to amazing use as the Step and Fetch It doll. Lillian Randolph, who I've been admiring as Mammy Two Shoes from Tom and Jerry, as well as the other Disney shorts, gave such a wonderful portrayal of the Mammy doll, and she even put her well-coordinated and absolutely amazing mezzo-soprano / contralto voice to phenomenal use, especially when she was belting out those notes. Sarah Berner gave a lot of innocence and charm to the little girl doll, as well as a lot of womanly depth to the Zasu Pitts doll. But the main star of this particular short is none other than Tommy Bupp as the Sailor Boy doll. He was able to inject this particular doll with a lot of optimism, pride, hope, joy, and a lot of excitement, to the point where I was completely involved in the Sailor Boy doll's hopes for all the broken toys to be repaired and be out of the dumps and into a new home. I definitely felt the joy radiating in his voice. I felt that optimism shining like the brightest of suns. And he did so with innocence, charm, and his youthful voice being put to absolutely astounding use. So overall, if you want a nice holiday special that manages to imbue you with hope and optimism, you can never go wrong with Broken Toys. The characters are all lovable, especially the Sailor Boy doll, and the ending will touch your heart and even melt it from all the ice that has been girdling it for quite some time. And for those of you who have caught Broken Toys from Silly Symphonies, what do you think of it? Do you feel that the Sailor Boy doll's optimism was the best part of this particular short? Did you feel that there was a lot of wonderful moments to be had, especially the ending and even the little girl doll's operation when she needed new eyes? Or did you feel like the short did not end up holding up so well? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's it for my tribute to Broken Toys from Silly Symphonies. Tune in much later, where I then traverse to Fleischer Studios as I do a tribute on Popeye the Sailor's Season's Greetings. So until then, happy holidays, everybody!